you gonna do, fiat dollar? Or Crypto Bull God and his crypto maniacs and the entire cryptocurrency market run wild on you?
Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and in today's video, the family. This video is dedicated to my family who is in the market, and this family will be the cream of the crop, and we will be rising to the absolute top. Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God.
And I am the Crypto Bull Goddess.
This is the recorded on Thursday, airing on Thursday, October 7th, 2021 Crypto Bull God podcast. So I have the Crypto Bull God, Bull Goddess here, who is from Northern Florida. And
Yep.
I am from Southern Florida. Don't you look at my screen. So she is visiting. So I just wanted to see how's the trip been to South Florida so far?
It's been great. I have had a good time. We went out to dinner for my birthday. We went
To a $1 million restaurant.
Yes. Yes. We also did paddleboarding. It was my first time. I did not fall. Well, that's because I didn't even try to stand up.
No, but you did good for your first time. You did really well.
I did. Yeah. I actually did better than what I expected. But yeah, I have had a great time.
We went from good to great. You said good in the beginning. Now it was great.
Yeah, great. Silly.
And your birthday was last Thursday.
Yep. It was last Thursday.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm getting old. Yep.
Yeah.
I won't say my age, but yeah,
Of course
I'm getting
not.
old.
Yeah. And we had our birthday last Thursday, I was saying you must be good luck because Bitcoin opened at 41,000 on your birthday, and a week later we opened at 55,000. We're up like 35%, like a straight green Jesus candle up.
Awesome. That means I brought you good luck.
And the time when you visited in March, for all the H barbarians out there, the time she was here in March, we went on that epic run in H-Bar that I told her about. So I said she needs to come to visit more so she's good luck for my crypto portfolio.
I don't mind. I like it here, so
like it here?
I don't mind. Yep.
Wait, you're moving here?
No, I never said that. No.
So we also went to Naples. You had an opportunity to ride in the legendary Acura Integra.
Yes, it was a fun time where I couldn't take a nap.
Why weren't you able to take a nap? I don't understand.
Because the car is loud.
The suspension's a little tight. Tight suspension on there.
Oh,
and
there
the exhaust, the exhaust is very loud, but we managed to get there in one piece.
Yep.
So we had a great time. That was a lot of fun too.
Yep.
I hadn't been to Naples in a long time, so.
Yeah, it was my second time in Naples. It's a very beautiful city. Yep.
Yeah, it is a really nice area. So, real quick before you head off,
What?
we got to bring this back to crypto for a second. Do you care to delve into the differences between blockchain and hash graph technology?
Bye.
It was nice to have my first guest here on the CBG podcast. That was pretty nice, just to have her on as a guest. But actually, the Crypto Bull Goddess, she came in 2 weekends ago, and she's taking off this Saturday. So, sad face. So she's taking off on Saturday, but she's up in Northern Florida, so we sort of take turns visiting each other for extended periods of time because thankfully we both have jobs that where we work remote. But let's bring this back to cryptocurrencies. So you can find me, the Crypto Bull God, bless you. You can find me on Twitter, TradingView, YouTube, and Instagram at CryptoBullGod. Just a quick mention that the CryptoBroz Podcast that I've been talking a lot about, we just had a new episode that dropped this past week. It's between my brother and I, CryptoBringer. You can also give him a follow on Twitter at CryptoBringer. This is a newer podcast series that I'll be doing with my brother. Definitely a different feel than this podcast, really to help people, to put things in layman's, we both put things in layman's terms to help explain the market. I'm coming at it as a seasoned veteran. I've been in the space for a while now. My brother's very new. He doesn't know as much. And so having those two perspectives and interacting with one another and, two people who have known each other all their lives is, I think, a great opportunity to help spread more educational awareness for the crypto community. So please subscribe to that channel. I'm going to drop a link in the description so you can check that out. And for those who listened to the last podcast episode, what you'll see or what you'll note is that we talked about doing a quote-unquote bonus episode. And that bonus episode that's going to be talking about some things in technical analysis and putting it in layman's terms to try to understand some basic premise, some basic items within charting so that the average person can kind of understand what's going on. We're actually going to be recording that on Saturday. Yes, this is fun for me to do on a Saturday. So my plans after the Crypto Bull Goddess leaves on Saturday is to, I don't really have anything going on Saturday. Probably Sunday. I have some plans tentatively. But Saturday, I'm just going to be doing a podcast with my brother. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So I should be able to get that thing edited and uploaded on Saturday. So be on the lookout for that. And then as far as other upcoming events, something else I wanted to comment on were future live streaming charting events. So I was really happy with how Chartmania turned out. I received a lot of positive feedback and positive support, and I'm really, really, really thankful for the community for interacting with me in that way, and just really thankful for that. And what I've gotten from that is that people would like that more often, which is great to hear. I definitely plan to do that. Now, if you haven't caught on so far, I do have this character, right? And hopefully you can tell at this point that the character of the Crypto Bull God does attempt to emanate certain professional wrestlers back in the day to bring some humor to the space. And so that's where the name Chartmania came from, right? Well, WrestleMania was a one-time thing, right? Once a year. So Chartmania is going to be a once-a-year thing. But there are plenty of other pay-per-view events like the Royal Rumble and SummerSlam that I'm sure I can come up with creative names to do future live charting events. So look for something here before the end of the year. I can try to put something together before the end of the year. But I had a great time doing that. And that also reminds me, by the way, I have not gotten back to the questions I was unable to answer on that live streaming event because it went later than anticipated. So I do have a few people who I have noted who had charts for me to comment on, and I do promise to get back to you on that, even if it takes a little bit longer than expected, because again, life is a little bit different right now in terms of how my time is being spent. It's not going to be like this forever. More on that to come. But for the time being, I'm doing the best I can to balance everything, and I will get back to everyone as soon as possible. So let's get into cryptocurrencies for a little bit here. Let's comment what's going on with Bitcoin. So one of the things that I had been speaking to on prior podcasts is the importance of recreating bullish structure within the chart. Some of the things I've tweeted about, which is why it's important to follow me on Twitter at CryptoBullGod, is I talked about the fact that since we bounced off the cycle low here at basically 30,000, I think it was calling that the whole way. So since we bounced off that 30,000 area, the Wyckoff accumulation pattern that everybody was fearing, the bears were indicating we would drop. No, never happened. But since we bounced off the 30,000 area, just like I felt convicted we would, we went all the way up to a high of basically 53,000. And then what happened was once we hit that high of 53,000 on September 7th, we began to create lower lows and lower highs in the price, culminating on right before the Crypto Bull Goddess's birthday. On September 29th, we hit a low of 40,750. And actually, we had to hit a lower low before that at 39,600. But the point is we had bottomed at 40,000. And since that 40,000 bottom on the Crypto Bull Goddess's birthday on September 30th, we have now begun to create a higher high. Okay, so we bottomed at 39,600. We then topped at 48,500, consolidated in that area, and now have created another high. By the way, blowing past the prior high I indicated back in September at 54,000, we went all the way up to 55,000, call it 800, basically 56,000. So we went up to 56,000. Okay, let's round this and keep this easier. And now we're starting to consolidate again. And I suspect price levels to look for at this point. I do have an area of resistance that I've shared on, a red area of resistance I have shared on Twitter. It's approximate, right? We don't have to be exact with dollar figures, but I use different time frames when coming up with these areas of resistance. But, whether I'm looking at a daily, 3-day chart, favorites of mine, favorite views on a chart for me are a 1-day, a 3-day, a week. Those are ones I go to, and then when I want to zoom in on a more micro level, I tend to go to the 12-hour and 4-hour. But anyway, I have a line drawn at 58,600. So right around that 59,000, I suspect there'll be some resistance, although Bitcoin has surprised us many times in the past, especially in a bullish environment like this. It wouldn't surprise me to blow right past that and challenge 65,000. We're going to just call it 65,000. I think it's 64,900. So 65,000 was our prior cycle all-time high that we hit way back in April, right? So I think that we will be challenging the $65,000 area. I mean, I've been saying that we would, if you follow me on Twitter again at Crypto Bull God, I've been saying that my belief was we would be smashing through that this month. So I do suspect that over the coming week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, I suspect a week or two, I would fully expect us to get right up in that $65,000 range. Now, the thing I want you to keep in mind, okay, and I've kind of spoken to this in the past, in prior TA videos, which, by the way, let me just make a note about this. I actually have a note to myself. We'll kind of talk about what I anticipate on doing specifically, but there is a TA video that I have in mind doing in the short term here. So I haven't done a TA video in a while. I miss doing TA videos. Believe me, I want to put out a TA video. And now we have some meaningful price action for me to actually start to comment on what I see in the charts and what I expect moving forward. So there will be a TA video out soon. But where I was going with this is in prior TA videos, I've mentioned this rule of sevens. And it was something I learned about a long time ago when I used to do stocks, which was if you're in something if you're in a stock, okay, same thing applies to stock as it does to cryptos. If you're in a stock and it hits 70 cents, chances are it's going to hit $1. If you're in a stock and it hits $7, chances are it's going to hit 10. 70, it's going to hit 100. 7,000, it's going to hit 10,000. And 70,000, wink, wink, Bitcoin, 70,000, chances are it's going to hit 100,000. It's a psychological thing. This is something about the 7 being so close to the 10. You have to understand what plays out a lot in these charts are human emotions and psychology. And the fact that 7's so close to 10, it just so happens that it's just data statistically that shows this historically over time. That once we hit 7, it is not guaranteed. Never anything do I say is guaranteed, right? I've stressed that enough. If you haven't been here, I stress all the time. I can never guarantee you anything, but what I can do is I can make probabilistic statements regarding future price action, right? So what I can indicate to you based on my education and knowledge is the most likely and least likely direction of price. It doesn't mean that if something is the least likely direction of price that it doesn't do something different. Okay, and it doesn't mean if it's least likely that it won't end up doing what's most likely. But what we can say is that for me personally, okay, I've said two things, okay, and I think I've only tweeted about one of these. I said the first area that I personally was looking for was 53,000 in Bitcoin. Once we got volume and daily candle closes above 53,000, it's time to get fucking excited. Well, guess what? We're sitting right now as I record this podcast on a Thursday in the evening here on the East Coast. We're sitting just over 54,000. I couldn't be more bullish in my opinion, okay? I would not be surprised. I'm not going to put exact date, timestamp on things, but maybe we see consolidation over the next 4 to 5 days and then smash up to 60,000 plus. But I wouldn't even be surprised if it happened even by the weekend. It just wouldn't surprise me, because what you have to understand is that we're in a very bullish environment right now, and we're entering the period known as Euphoria that I've spoken to many times. So 53,000 was an area that I had spoken to in the past. But the other thing that I mentioned in the past, and that I plan to reach out and text Minishift, is once Bitcoin hits 70,000, for me, it's all but guaranteed. It's not again, there's no certainties in life besides living and dying, but once we hit 70,000, to me, it's all but a done deal that Bitcoin's going to hit 100,000 pretty soon. And as all of you know who have been here for a little while now, we have this double or nothing bet going. He lost the original bet of Bitcoin hitting 50,000 this year, and we did a double or nothing, and I said, all right, cool. So let's make it 100,000 by 12/31 of 2021. So to me, I feel uber confident that we're going to hit 100,000 this year. I think we're going significantly higher than that. Once again, I've tried to share all this information with him, but once again, it falls on deaf ears. So once we hit 70,000, I'm certainly going to text him. I'll probably text something like 70,000 and then just put a party face, because for me, the 100,000 is a done deal. So what I'm trying to say here is, there are really two things to look for, I think, at this point to look for. How does Bitcoin interact with the prior cycle all-time high of 65,000? Okay? Once we break 65,000, okay, once we break that and we hit 70,000, what I'm telling you, in my opinion, statistically, just based on data, this is what I do every single day as an actuary. I just evaluate the data and I share with others what it's telling me, unbiasedly, unemotionally. Once we hit $70,000, it is a done deal, in my opinion, statistically speaking, that we will hit $100,000. Will it happen in October, November, December, January, February, March, April? Well, I can't tell you that. But statistically speaking, it will happen. Now, as you know, real quick, before we get off this subject of Bitcoin and turn on to some other things here, I have spoken to the fact, and I've been very convicted about this, that the euphoric bull cycle top will occur within this quarter, the fourth quarter of 2021. Now, maybe, depending upon when Bitcoin tops, okay, because this is what I've spoken to. I have spoken to when I suspect Bitcoin will top, and I've leaned towards that at this point. I've refined when it will be in the fourth quarter. But I've been leaning the past several weeks towards November, December. Okay, and that's where I'm at right now. I think November or December is very possible. And if you understand the charts like I do, you want it later. You want it in December because there's more room for the price to go up, based on the charts I'm evaluating and some of the data science models that I've shared in the past. Okay, so you want it to be in December, actually. But the altcoins, depending when Bitcoin tops, some of them top right around when Bitcoin tops. Some of them are laggards like XLM and XRP. Some of them could bleed into January. But that is my call, that Bitcoin will top in the fourth quarter of this year. And keep in mind, as confident as I feel in the price action, I've indicated in the past, the hardest thing for me to do as a technical analyst is to comment on timing. The worst case scenario, in my opinion, because I do firmly believe we're in an epic bull run right now, the worst case scenario is not that we've topped. I've indicated this way too many times in the past. The quote-unquote worst case scenario is that we do not top in the fourth quarter like I'm indicating, and we top in the first half of 2022. And again, I just want to stress, if you really have the educational background to feel this convicted and say the worst case scenario for me is, I know there's generational wealth transfer upon us, and it's just a matter of if it's 6 or 7 months out or it's occurring in the next month or two. Why are you stressed about this, right? So education is power, as I always tweet out on Twitter. It's a common hashtag that I use. education is power, because with that you feel very convicted in those things that you've learned about. And so we'll revisit, week after week, month after month, where we're at within price action. But currently, I don't feel any differently in terms of when we're going to top, my primary thesis or hypothesis. So let's get into the emotional shift comment that I wanted to make real quick. And that is, one of the things you can do now that you're in the market, right? If you're listening to this, most likely you're in the market and you're invested. I guess there's a chance that you're listening to this and heeding my words as some sort of opinion on whether or not maybe you should get invested in the market. God help you if you're taking my advice on anything. No, I'm just kidding. But chances are you're in the market, right? So one of the things you want to pay attention to, it's really to gain the experience and the expertise in this market. You can't look at one thing. You have to be very well-rounded and very mindful of all the things that are going on around you. Let me explain specifically what I mean by that. So one of the things you want to pay particular attention to is not just the price action. No. What is baked into the chart? What's baked into the chart are the people that are buying and selling. A lot of the buying and selling that's going on, the emotional responses of people and the retail investors. And so one of the things that you want to pay particular attention to is, what's the emotional shift that takes place during this period? Notice when we were at 28, 29, and 30,000, don't you ever forget the people like myself and a handful of people, a handful of other technicians out there I greatly respect, and I give them credit on Twitter. If you're paying attention, I call these people out routinely. Pay attention to those people who were steadfast in their educational opinions. And then also pay attention to the people who got emotional and said we were heading down to like 10,000. We were in this bearish head and shoulders pattern and all this bullshit that didn't make any sense when you looked at the formation of the chart. People that were wishy-washy and back and forth. Also pay attention to the fact that when we have a 30% or 25% decline in prices, like I've indicated, are very common in bull cycles. This is a volatile asset. This is a volatile market. 25 to 30% pullbacks may not be as common in the stock market, in stocks you're invested in, but you need to understand, if you're invested in this market, that volatility is part of your investment. And if you haven't learned that by now, you're learning very quickly. There is no other sector you can invest in that I'm aware of that has this much volatility. Maybe comment below if you can think of something. I mean, maybe there's something out there, but marijuana stocks. I guess marijuana would be another area that you have a lot of plays in there that are very, there's mining stocks. There's all sorts of other volatile sectors. But the point is, this place is very volatile. So pay attention that even when we hit 54 and then we were treading around 40,000, people still said we were going to have like this ABC wave correction that would take us well below and we'd be in a bear market, okay? Now watch, as we smash 65,000 and we start heading up to 70, 100,000, watch how euphoric people get. I tweeted something out the other day that in a massive crypto bull market, what happens is the way the emotion plays out in the market, you have a lot of people that are on the sidelines. You have a lot of retail investors that have zero clue on what they're doing, okay? And these people are taking the opinions of people they don't know. They're just reading things on Twitter or they're reading news articles, and they're really not well informed. They don't do the research. They don't spend their time educating themselves on this market. And so what happens is they think they can outsmart the market. Okay, they think they can outsmart the market, and they're sitting on the sidelines waiting for Bitcoin to retrace. Right now it's at 54,000, right? So let's say they're waiting for Bitcoin to come back down to 40,000, and it's never going to happen, right? So what happens is Bitcoin will move up to 60,000, and then it'll correct. And they'll say, see, I told you it's not creating a new all-time high. And it'll come back down, and then it'll smash up to 70,000. It'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed out. But then it'll correct back down to 65,000. Okay, it's going to come back down. Then it starts running up to 86,000. And before you know it, Bitcoin's at 86, 100, 120,000, and they're FOMOing into the market. This is where fear of missing out comes into play. They're buying into the market at the worst time. They're buying into a market that is epically green and has moved up 100%. That is the most moronic time to take your dollar bills, your fiat, and convert it into crypto when things have run up 100, 200%. This is the dumbest thing you can do. If you're educating yourselves and you know what you're invested in, the time to invest, if you know what you're doing, is when the market is extremely pessimistic and the prices are at levels that the charts and the data science models are telling you are very suppressed in value. Again, this is why I'm here. I can't ever guarantee you anything in the prices that I'm communicating to you in terms of, if it's under or overvalued. I can't guarantee you whether the prices, meaning, let me clarify that statement. I can't guarantee you that if I'm looking at data science models and charts that tell me that the prices are under or overvalued, that the price won't go 5% lower or dip on a massive wick, a volatility wick, and go 10% lower and recover massively in price. I'm not here to tell you that. But what I can tell you unemotionally is what I see in the charts in terms of if things are under or overvalued. So just keep track of the emotional shift that takes place during the fourth quarter. You will see headlines. You will see crypto covered on CNBC. And if it's anything like last time where they tell you how to buy crypto, you'll know it's the top. But just think about it. Just one last closing comment before we move on here to another update I had. As much as I sit here or actually I'm standing right now as I record this podcast, I'm actually standing. I'm not sitting. As much as I'm standing here sharing this information with you, and I'm telling you about generational wealth transfer opportunities, this doesn't happen to most people, right? Most people aren't walking around as millionaires who prospered during this disruptive technology that presented massive opportunity, right? Most people fail at this. Why do most people fail at this? Most people fail at this because they emotionally are invested, they don't know what they're doing, and they haven't done the education and research. One of the beautiful things of recording this podcast is you can actually stop it, and you can never tell unless if I speak to it. So I have an AC issue going on, and I'm having someone here to quick repair it, and I was able to pause the podcast. The problem with that is it throws you off your rhythm of what you're talking about. But anyway, I think you get the point. I mean, this is a generational wealth transfer opportunity, but it's a generational wealth transfer opportunity for the very few who take advantage of it, who have done the education and research to unemotionally invest in the things they feel convicted about. And I mean convicted about. Think about how you personally felt. I'd actually appreciate very much if you would drop a comment and would be willing to share honestly how you felt back in, let's see here. How did you feel? And when you drop this comment, let me know how long you've been in this market. How did you feel back in mid-May to late July? Because I got to tell you, as a content creator who's doing his very best to upload as much material as I can, Jesus almighty, did I feel the saltiness from this market. There were people, like when I would come on here and I would talk about the consolidation taking place in H-bar, and yeah, consolidation can actually mean prices going down. Consolidation doesn't mean a straight horizontal line that's moving equally in price and staying at, say, 25 or 30 cents. It can actually be decreasing or increasing slightly in value, and it's consolidating. The market's trying to set a level for the price. Buyers and sellers are creating a floor for the price, and it's just consolidating. That's all that's going on. But I had people coming at me. Your followers drop a little, your subscribers on YouTube drop. And I just want you to indicate to me, how did you feel during that period from mid-May all the way until late July? Because I got to tell you, a lot of people were super pessimistic. But that's the reason that most people aren't able to capture the opportunity that's in front of them, is they're just emotionally invested and they just have no clue what they're doing. But you have to start somewhere. You have to do your own due diligence and take responsibility for your investment first and foremost. And then also it's helpful to have other analysts' opinions, such as myself and others who I respect in the space, to validate your own thought process and get you to critically think through the decisions that you're making. So in terms of getting to the next update I wanted to speak to real quick, it is the next TA video. So just as a Just as a heads up in terms of what I'm thinking for the next TA video, and I actually have been giving a lot of thought in terms of how I want to change up the structure of some TA videos to do things a little bit differently once I have more time to create more TA videos. But in terms of for this TA video, what I am planning on doing is creating a video that is going to simply be labeled something along the lines of cup and handles. Because the reason I want to label it that is a cup and handle formation, by the way, is a technical formation in the charts for those who are not familiar. It's literally a cup, a big U, and then a handle, like on a mug, okay? And it's an epically bullish formation within a chart. It's one of the most bullish formations you can have in a chart because of the time span it typically comprises and the momentum upwards that it indicates, okay? So the reason I want to call the TA video cup and handles is because there are too many charts I'm looking at. Too many. Well, not too many, but enough to make me smile very much. There are a lot of charts I'm looking at that have cup and handle formations. And this is very good news for all of us, especially when you're looking at macro perspective charts comprising the entire market and it's a freaking cup and handle. That's good news for us. So I want to share what I'm looking at with you, and I think the next TA video will just be called Cup and Handles, something along that line. So speaking of charts, let's get into the chart of the week. So the chart of the week is something that I've tweeted out before. I do not believe this has been a chart of the week in the past. This chart today, on mostly a red day, I'm looking at the ones I follow, mostly a red day, there is some green in the market. This chart is up I'm looking at it right now, it's up 6.5%. What chart is that? That chart is 1 H bar, okay? So it is a custom created chart that I created on TradingView. Now, if you can hear that noise in the background, I don't know how distracting that is. We're just going to talk through it. That is a wet vac going into the AC unit because it's flooded a little bit. So I apologize for the distraction if it's a little loud, but we're going to continue through this so we can continue through the day. But 1 H bar is the custom chart. If you're not following me on Twitter, follow me. Please, for the love of God, give me a follow on Twitter. Follow on Twitter because I'm here to provide you TA that helps you. What does this chart say to us? Okay, let's take a second to talk about the chart. Well, first off, let's ignore what it is, okay, what it actually represents. Let's look at the formation because I am very excited at the formation. The formation is a bull pennant. It is a massive bull pennant. And the bull pennant, I have the technical target, not saying it's going to reach the technical target, but it looks like I have a technical target drawn at 1.25. So what does that even mean? Well, whenever we look at a price relativity chart, what is it telling us? Okay, let me rule out what it is not telling us. It is not saying anything about market capitalization. The market capitalization of a product. All it is looking at, for all of you who are not good with ratios, it's looking at a ratio of the USD value of one crypto divided by the USD value of another crypto. That's all it's saying. Literally, don't overthink it. That's all it's saying, okay? Enough said. So right now, the 1 H bar relativity chart is 0.47, okay? Now, if you recall, I did tweet out a little while ago, I exchanged some H bar for 1 because this relativity value told me that 1's USD value is cheap, very historically cheap, based on what I was looking at relative to H bar when it was going on its massive run up to close to 60 cents. So I sold some H bar and switched it into another component of the Holy Crypto Trinity because my game plan is to take that small percentage of my H bar, buy the 1 Harmony, wait for this relativity value to say it's overvalued, and then switch that, convert those 1 units into USD and then buy up H bar. Okay, and these, when you can look at relativity values, these are the small, and I do want to reiterate, small investment decisions that you can make to increase other positions. So right now, the 1 H-bar relativity chart is sitting at 0.47. Okay, we're up 6.5%. I'm saying it could hit 1.25. What does that mean? Well, right now, the relativity chart, let's round up the number, make it easy. Right now, the relativity chart is a half, 0.5. All right, we're going to call it 0.5. What that means is the USD value of 1 is a half of the USD value of H-bar. Okay, so roughly 18 to 36 cents, something like that, 19 to 38 cents, right? 19 cents in 1 to 38 cents in H-bar. If the bull pennant technical pattern plays out and we hit anywhere around 1.25, let's even just, you know what, let's simplify it. Let's say we hit 1, a value of 1 on this chart. What it means is 1 harmony USD value will equal 1 for 1 what the USD value is for H-bar. Meaning, let's say H-bar is trading at 46 cents. Well, if we hit a relativity value on this chart of 1, if we hit a relativity value of 1.0 on this chart, it would mean that 1, this is probably a bad example since I'm saying 1 and 1, that would mean that 1 harmony USD value would equal, can you take a guess? H-bar is 46 cents, and the relativity value is 1.0. What would 1's USD value be? It would be 46 cents. So overall, what I'm trying to express here is there's greater potential for price appreciation in 1 relative to H-bar at the moment. It is in a massive bull flag that looks like it could break out any week now, any day, any week. Okay, so that's why I took a small position of H-bar and stuck it into 1 because I do feel like I can eventually sell that at some point this month, latest next month. Convert it back into H-bar and actually have a lot more H-bar based on the original amount that I sold. So that is the chart of the week. It is the 1 H-bar chart. You should definitely try to custom create that within TradingView. You know what? Before we get into Twitter questions, actually one more clarifying point. I can't speak to relativity charts enough because I think people struggle to understand them. A relativity chart is just expressing a ratio of 2 USD crypto values, right? So it doesn't, when you look at a 1 H-bar chart, okay, 1 to H-bar, if the price is increasing in value, like right now I'm looking at it going up 7%, it's near 50.5, which is great. Based on when I bought in, switched investments at 0.3. But anyway, so it isn't indicating necessarily that 1 USD is increasing in price. All it means is the strength of the move is greater. If 1 H-bar, if the 1 H-bar relativity value is increasing in value, all it means is whatever price action is going on with 1 USD in relation to H-bar USD is stronger in value. Meaning 1 USD could be decreasing 5%. But if H-bar decreases, say, 10%, well, then the 1 H-bar chart would be going up 5%. Or one more example. If 1 USD value was decreasing 2% and H-bar USD value was decreasing 10%, the difference between those two is 8%. But 1 USD is decreasing at a smaller amount relative to H-bar, right? So the 1 H-bar USD, the 1 H-bar relativity chart would be going up the difference, 8%. It would be increasing 8%, even though both are going down in value on the USD chart. So hopefully that is helpful and makes sense. I can continue to hit on this in future podcasts and also TA videos as well. But let's get into Twitter questions. Okay, I can see the podcast is getting lengthy here, so I'm going to try to make this super quick. As always, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the interaction and asking the questions that you have here. So the first question that I have is three coins aping in besides the Holy Crypto Trinity. So I'll modify the question. 3 coins that I feel very bullish about besides the Holy Crypto Trinity that are either in my portfolio or may not at the moment, but have demonstrated bullish price action that I think have a lot of value moving forward. The first one I would say that appears to be very underrated, and this is a coin that's been here for a little bit, and I'm looking at the XRP to XLM ratio, I'd say XLM. I think XLM is very underrated. It's not talked about enough. It's a little bit under the radar. It's been here for a little bit. I like XLM as being an underrated coin to have in your portfolio. Another one I would have is Uniswap. I love the structure, price structure on Uniswap. That's another one that I think would be good to have in your portfolio. And the third would be Matic. Matic would be another one outside of the Holy Crypto Trinity that I feel very bullish about the price structure. So I would say XLM, I would say Uniswap, UNI, and Matic, Polygon, MATIC, ticker. Great question. Next question. How to formulate an exit plan based on an individual's goals, also when you're doing another Chart Mania. Okay, so thank you for the interest in Chart Mania. I addressed that at the top of the podcast. And I'm going to modify your question. Well, I guess I shouldn't modify your question. You have an exit plan. You know what? It is based on your individual goals, because I wouldn't even say individual goals. I would modify it. I would say your exit plan shouldn't be based on your goals. It should be based on your risk tolerance level. Meaning, you should have an exit plan that is very logical in nature, scaling out at logical price exit points that you have determined based on technical analysis. And this is where, if you don't have a technical analysis background, it sucks. Because you can have all the fundamental knowledge you want, but if you don't have a technical analysis background, how the fuck are you even going to have an exit plan, to be honest with you? So your exit plan should be founded within technical analysis, and you should have price points that you should be able to discern as recent price action begins to accumulate within the chart. And then how you exit out should be based on your risk tolerance level, meaning if you want to be more conservative, you're going to scale out more of your investment at lower price levels you deem to be realistic that it will hit. If you're more risk averse and you feel that you want to let things run a little harder, and the money you have invested is something that, you know what, you're just going to see if the sky's the limit, you're going to take a smaller percentage out at the lower price levels you've identified and let more ride and take it out at higher price levels. That's what I would say. But where you get into individual goals, I have an issue with that, because then what that tells me is, I'll just tell you how I interpret it. That starts to get emotional to me, because you have a goal. Let's say, for example, this is how I interpret it. Steve, thanks for asking the question. How I interpret that is, you have an exit plan based on wanting to buy a yacht. And so you're waiting for XRP to hit $1,000. Well, I have news for you. XRP's not hitting $1,000. So if you want to sit there and have a life goal of buying a yacht, and the way you're going to buy a yacht is to have an exit plan to scale out half your investment once it hits $1,000 or $900, you're going to be waiting a long time. You might be dead. So you might die. So the point is you want to have realistic scale out strategy based on technical analysis, and then is based on your relative risk level, okay? Your risk tolerance, as I say, your risk tolerance. Thoughts on CVX? Thank you for the question, Power Trust. A few people have tweeted to me. I have no current thoughts. I have no current thoughts. I haven't looked into it. It's something I need to look into. A few people have tweeted me on this. I need to write down a note. You know, I'm a busy person, as many people are, and I just haven't had the time to look into it. But I will look into it. I appreciate you asking. And you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to get back to you on the next podcast with my thoughts on it. So let me get back to you on that. Same with the next question. Thoughts on CSPR? I don't have any thoughts. Don't know it. Never heard of it. I've at least heard of CVX. CSPR, I have no clue what that is. So I will look into it. Thank you for the question, TravXRP. So it looks like that's it for the Twitter questions. So I'd like to thank the Crypto Bull Goddess for joining me as a special guest on the 20th episode of the CBG podcast. And I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in. Make sure to subscribe to the CryptoBroz Podcast. We will be dropping a bonus special podcast episode this coming Saturday. And as always, especially to Minishift, in closing, Please join me in a moment of silence for all of those I attempted on multiple occasions to get into crypto and have remained ignorant. Gracias.